Hello, and welcome to this Bitwise and AWS webinar on an automated approach to migrating on-premise ETL to AWS Glue. My name is Nathan Nichols, Head of Partnerships here at Bitwise. We have a packed agenda today covering introductions to Bitwise and AWS Glue, followed by an overview of our ETL conversion solution with a demo on converting an Informatica job to AWS Glue. We'll also have time for Q&A at the end of the session, so feel free to send your questions via the questions feature, or you can contact us at any time at sales@bitwiseglobal.com. Joining me today are two presenters well qualified to talk about migration of on-premise ETL to AWS Glue. Kalpa Sharma, Senior BI Project Manager at Bitwise, specializes in migration solutioning and leads an innovative automated ETL conversion solutions team. With her vast experience in BI projects, Kalpa closely works with our clients' technical teams to set up best practices, design innovative solutions, and establish guidelines for new data integration tool implementation or migrating or redesigning existing tools. Eric Lin is a Senior Partner Management Solutions Architect with Amazon Web Services. As an AWS PMSA, Eric is focused on helping partners build and develop successful cloud consulting practices. He has over 20 years of experience in technology, spanning companies which provide global internet access, call center as a service, security as a service, retail, e-commerce, and cloud computing. Before I hand things over to Eric and Kalpa, let me first provide a quick introduction to Bitwise. Bitwise, a global technology consulting and services company, uses our 24 years of enterprise data management experience to help bridge gaps between traditional EDW and cutting-edge big data and cloud technologies. What truly sets Bitwise apart is our technology leadership in creating unique accelerators and frameworks that reduce the time, complexity, and cost of large-scale initiatives such as ETL conversion and cloud migrations. As a technology consulting company, we partner with the leading data and analytics companies like AWS to help our global clients leverage data to enable business insights and maximize their competitive advantage. With that, I'd like to pass things over to Eric to talk about AWS Glue. Eric?
All right, thank you, Nathan. Good morning, everyone. Again, my name is Eric Lin. I'm an AWS Partner Management Solutions Architect. I've been with AWS for about 2 years, helping customers drive their cloud transformations. So today, I'm going to provide you with a very high-level overview of AWS Glue and its benefits. AWS Glue is a cloud-based, fully managed ETL service in AWS. By fully managed, it means that AWS manages all the underlying infrastructure for you, so you, the customer, no longer need to worry about managing any of the servers. AWS Glue is also designed to be simple. It automates a lot of the work required to build out ETL jobs and execute them. Just as with other AWS fully managed services, it handles a lot of the undifferentiated heavy lifting for you, so your engineers can focus on what really matters for the business. In this case, that means prepping and making sure your data is available to be effectively used to help drive and achieve your business objectives. Also keep in mind that AWS is continually improving on its services. Just 2 months ago, we released AWS Glue Studio, which provides you with a graphical user interface that makes it even easier to implement and manage AWS Glue. AWS Glue is comprised of 3 main components: the data catalog, job authoring, and job execution. The data catalog is a central metadata repository. Crawlers automatically scan, classify, extract schema information, and then store the metadata in tables in the data catalog. For job authoring, you can auto-generate your ETL code, or you can import your existing ETL scripts into AWS Glue to run them for you. And everything is built on top of well-known open frameworks, Python and Spark. So if your engineers do need to customize anything, that shouldn't be too much of a challenge. For job execution, you have some flexibility. You can trigger your ETL jobs to run in response to certain events. You can schedule your jobs to run at certain times, or you can run your jobs on demand. AWS Glue is also integrated with Amazon CloudWatch. It handles the monitoring and alerting for you. It also handles any dependencies between different ETL jobs. So if you do have a dependency on a particular job, it will make sure that that one will finish running before it starts on the next one. There are a number of compelling reasons to migrate your ETL to AWS Glue. For one, it is less effort for your engineers to implement and manage because it is a fully managed service that automates a lot of the work for you. It's also highly scalable. It's built on top of the AWS global infrastructure, which is designed to support millions of customers. It automatically scales up and down the resources for you as needed. It's easily debuggable. As it executes on ETL jobs, it captures all the actions and any errors and logs. It provides those details to you in the form of graphs and a dashboard in case you need to debug ETL job failures or performance issues. It's also cost efficient. You only need to pay for the resources you actually consume. You no longer need to waste money on idle resources because of inaccurate capacity planning. And finally, it helps you to accelerate your innovation. Many of our customers are leveraging AWS Glue as a key service in implementing effective data lake and data warehouse solutions on top of S3 and Redshift. This has helped them to make better data-driven decisions. Our customers are also using AWS Glue as a key service in prepping and transforming data for machine learning services, such as Amazon SageMaker. As a fully managed service implemented with other AWS managed services, it's made it much easier and faster for our customers to deploy new architectures. This has facilitated more frequent experimentation as new ideas come up. So today I've only provided you with a very high-level overview of AWS Glue and its benefits. There are a lot more features and functionality I didn't have time to talk about. So after this webinar, I encourage you to dive a bit deeper on AWS Glue as well as Glue Studio to learn more if you're interested. For now, I'm going to hand the stage over to Kalpa, who's going to talk a bit more about how Bitwise can provide you with a more comprehensive solution on top of AWS Glue. Thanks so much for your time today.
Great. Thanks, Eric. Hello, everyone. This is Kalpa. So now that we have learned a bit around why to migrate to AWS Glue. So if we go by the traditional way of migration, which essentially involves understanding of all the traditional on-premise ETL, writing down those requirements, spreadsheet, and then doing the entire conversion, this entire process would be too time consuming. And because it's going to be manual, there would be high chances of errors. It would be resource extensive, and as well as the lack of knowledge on both sides of the tool may further add to the complications. So to avoid all of this, Bitwise has this innovative solution of end-to-end migration through automation. So today we will be demonstrating one of the sample automation, but before we go to the demo, let's take a brief overview of how the architecture of tool looks like. The architecture of this tool can be divided in 3 different modules. So the first module is the adoption plugin. The purpose of this module is to essentially parse the entire metadata or the source script from any of the on-premise ETL tool. Once this information is analyzed and parsed, this is transferred to the ETL conversion core module, where the entire conversion actually happens. But at this stage, the conversion code is an internal tool format. Now, there is a generation plugin which can essentially used for actually transforming this ETL conversion code to the required script for the target ETL tool. So for today's purpose, we can say that it's going to convert into Python. Along with the target script, the tool also provides a conversion report, which is very helpful to understand the part of the code which cannot be converted, or if any kind of re-engineering is needed after migration. All right. So before we actually look at the demo, just wanted to let you know that Bitwise provides this entire solution as a complete migration solution, and which can be divided into multiple phases. We essentially start with assessment automation. So the entire inventory is assessed, the planning is done, entire solution approach is decided in this phase, followed by the conversion, which is the automated conversion. This will also include any kind of redesign needed, any optimization required, because it's usually not apple to apple conversion. So we'll be definitely leveraging AWS Glue's benefits and the cloud strategies there. Then the next phase would be the test automation. And for test automation, there are different scripts and programs prepared by Bitwise, which can be used to further automate the entire conversion. And post then, there will be updates and the implementation on higher environment, which could be dependent on, it could be QA environment, production, etc. Right. So this entire conversion can be undertaken in both in agile as well as phased approach, but we would prefer agile model usually. We just don't convert only from any of these on-premise ETL tool like Informatica, SSIS, Ab initio, etc. We are also providing the solution to convert this entire legacy code, for example, PLSQL stored procedures and any of the TSQL stored procedures, etc., can also be migrated to AWS Glue. So with that, let's jump to the demo. All right, so today we have taken this medium complex Informatica job with typical transformations, all the joiners and expression, etc. Once we are in the conversion tool, we need to first provide the path where the source ETL is present, and then we can provide the path where we want to create the target. Once the conversion is done, like I mentioned, it will provide us the target script as well as the conversion report. So as a next step, we will be uploading this converted file, Python script to S3 bucket. Once that is done, we'll go to AWS Glue console, create a job, and we'll import this newly created Python script. Just defining the type of job. And because we already have the script, we'll need to select an existing script. So at this point, we will be selecting the script which we have just uploaded on S3 bucket. All right. So once this is done, we can now see in Glue Studio the Glue scripts as well as the diagrammatic representation of the script. So we can arrange this diagram. This definitely helps understand the entire flow in much easier way. So let's see one of the sample input. All right, so here it is. So this is one of the input file, and we can see the similar input will be present at Informatica. So usually all the metadata information and source information is converted. Now let's look at the little complex transformation join. Now this is a left outer join with the key defined here. The detail outer is defining the left outer join, and these are the claim policy number and memory policy number are the keys. Now let's look at the same component in Glue script, and we'll see how this script has automatically incorporated the keys as well as the type of join in the glue. Okay. So let's see one of the transformation where we are doing some field level transformation. So let's take this one of the field as policy premium left. So there are a couple of functions, some transformation calculation has been applied, ceiling function, etc. And now we'll see same thing at glue side. Okay. So as you can see on the screen, the same function, ceiling function, along with the typical calculation has been automatically generated by the tool. Likewise, most of the targets and rest of the logic has been automatically converted. Along with this, I did mention that there is a report created, which is a very helpful an entire migration solution, because this provides us the information around every single activity which has been converted, or if there is anything which needs some level of redesign, that is also highlighted. We can see on the screen, like one of the function cannot be converted, and it's typically highlighted in the report. So yeah, that's pretty much how the conversion looks like. Now, the key benefits and takeaway of this session would be that we have one-stop complete solution for end-to-end migration from any of your ETL or legacy tool to AWS Glue. This solution definitely provides reduction in efforts because of automation, and which will definitely result in lesser cost and much faster migration timeline. This is definitely an efficient and faster automation approach, and certainly with less error and better quality. So from this point onwards, I will hand it over to Nathan.
Great, thanks Kalpa, and thanks Eric. So we hope that this session provided a good overview of AWS Glue and our solution to migrate legacy on-premise ETL. Obviously, we can't go too detailed into the solution in the time we have available, but to explore further, you can visit the AWS Glue site provided here for more resources on Glue, as well as the Bitwise ETL converter page for additional resources there. You can also request a conversion POC, which allows you to upload one of your sample ETL jobs for conversion to Glue. And beyond that, feel free to contact us directly at sales@bitwiseglobal.com to explore a deep dive discussion on your specific migration requirement. With that, I'd like to thank you for your time for joining us today. We do have time for Q&A, and we've got a number of questions lined up here. So let's go ahead and get started in the Q&A. As mentioned, you can send your questions in via the question feature, and we'll get through what we can. And we can also respond to your questions separately if we do not get to them here. So let's dive into the questions. Eric, I think this first question is a good one for you to take on customer success. So the question is, do you have any real-world examples of how customers have had success with AWS Glue?
Sure, I can take that. So many of our customers are implementing AWS Glue along with other AWS services to build out solutions. And the most popular usage of AWS Glue has been with the implementation of data lakes and data warehouses on AWS. Customers have also been increasingly integrating machine learning services such as Amazon SageMaker as part of these solutions. So Jack in the Box built their data warehouse on AWS Redshift and their data lake on S3 and Athena. They're leveraging AWS Glue to extract, transform, and load data between their source and destination targets within this solution. The CTO of Jack in the Box was quoted as saying, Glue ETL performed 200% faster than traditional ETL tools with no operational overhead due to the serverless nature of Glue ETL and at a fraction of the cost. I've got another example. So Domino has built a predictive ordering solution on top of Amazon S3, AWS Glue, and Amazon SageMaker to drive down pickup and delivery times of pizzas for their customers. They first rolled this out in Australia and were able to get their order to delivery times to 10 minutes or less with this new solution. And this has been a market differentiator for them since some of their competitors still take 45 minutes to an hour for delivery. We have a lot more case studies on the AWS website of other customers finding success with AWS Glue, so please feel free to check there for more examples. Next question. Nathan, do you have another one that you want to follow up with?
Yeah, thanks, Eric. So another question specific to AWS Glue is, what programming language can I use to write my ETL code for Glue?
All right, sure. So you can use either PySpark, Scala, or Python today. Next question.
Okay. So switching gears on the conversion process, Copa, I think this would be a good one for you. Once the ETL is converted, what mechanism will be used to pull the data from on-premise database to AWS Glue?
Sure. So there, depending on what is the volume of data we want to migrate and how many files we want to migrate, what would be the typical network bandwidth available. There are multiple solutions available for this kind of data migration. Few could be AWS Data Sync, then there are AWS Database Migration Services, and there is another option as Cloud Endure. And for more complex and really high volume data, there are solutions around Snowball Edge. Thanks. Next question, Nathan.
Yeah, a follow-up to that is, how is the testing carried out on the converted code?
Okay. So once the migration is done, there are different testing scripts and utilities prepared by Bitwise. So the data is compared and reports are generated all through automation as part of our testing automation solution, which will be definitely part of entire migration solution. Thanks. Next question, Nathan.
Yeah, and then how is performance optimization achieved with this solution?
There are multiple ways through which optimization can be achieved. A few could be while we are doing the automated migration, for example, the way job will be designed, typical solutions around ensuring the filtering is done at right level, incremental processing is done, etc. Then there are multiple optimization techniques can be applied during the configuration as well as at database level. Also, because the execution engine is Spark, different Spark optimization techniques will be applied as part of migration. Okay. Next question,
okay.
Nathan.
Yeah, the follow-up to that is, then how is scheduling handled?
Yeah, so AWS definitely provides its own scheduling mechanism through triggers. And it is also very efficiently integrated with third-party schedulers like Control-M, Tivoli. Also, then there are ways to call AWS command line interface, through which we can always integrate this command line interface with any of the services which we want to call. So these are the typical ways scheduling can be done.
Okay. Some more questions on AWS Glue. So Eric, how does AWS Glue keep data secure?
We provide server-side encryption for data at rest and SSL for data in transit. And we leverage AWS KMS for the encryption. Another question?
Yep. So question on pricing. So question that always comes up. How does the AWS Glue pricing model work?
All right, and I think it would help. Kulpa, can you move to that slide that I put in the appendix for pricing? Thank you. So if you run a Google search on AWS Glue pricing, it will point you to a page which provides a bit more detailed breakdown on the pricing. But at a high level, you pay for the time your ETL jobs and crawlers take to run. We charge 44 cents per data processing unit per hour, and each data processing unit provides 4 virtual CPU and 16 gigabytes of memory. We also charge for the storage and the requests of your data in the Glue data catalog. The first 1,000,000 objects stored and the first 1,000,000 requests per month are free. It costs $1 per 100,000 objects stored above 1,000,000 per month, and $1 per 1,000,000 requests above 1,000,000 requests in a month. Next question.
Okay. I think for today, we'll need to leave it there. Still some other questions coming in, and we can address those directly. But that concludes our session for today. As mentioned, if we did not get to your question, we'll reach out directly. And as always, you can contact us at any time at sales@bitwiseglobal.com with any additional questions. Thanks for joining, and thank you, Eric and Kulpa. And as always, we look forward to talking with you soon. Goodbye. Enjoy your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.